My Journey to the West. Introduction to the Gancheng Demon Emperor. This book is also known as, I Am a Little Monster, I Am the King in All Heavens, 800 Li Lion Camel Ridge, with corpses like mountains, filled with blood. Zhang Yuan woke up from a dream and became a little diamond wind patrolling the Lion Camel Ridge. In order to survive, he quietly became a humble little demon, struggling to develop. Fortunately, the heavenly way has left a trace, and Zhang Yuan's golden finger has finally been credited. The gift of the heavenly way leads to a rebellious understanding. You have improved your strength by observing the dead corpses. You observe the practice of the Lion Camel Ridge Demon King and obtain divine powers, laws, celestial phenomena, and earth. You observe Sun Wukong's physical body and gain 70.2 transformations. Countless years later, Zhang Yuan stood in the heavenly court and said arrogantly, I am the king of all the heavens. Follow my life, and those who rebel will perish. Chapter 1. Dead Corpse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 666. How are you guys? A little bit. 8 horses. 4 seasons wealth. Where are the 5 chieftains? 6 or 6. In a cold and gloomy demon cave on the west side of the south mountain of the 800-mile Lion Camel Ridge, several little demons were drinking and punching. Huh, lost, you lost again, all the spirit stones belong to me. The little diamond wind, sent by the Lion Camel Cave green-hair lion monster to patrol the mountain, grabbed several spiritual stones from the stone table and put them in his pocket without saying hello, and swaggered out of the cave. A few little demons stared with big eyes. After more than 10 rounds of boxing, they didn't win a single game, and the hundreds of spirit stones they had finally accumulated became the contents of Xiao Zhuanfeng's bag. Although feeling suffocated, he never dared to have the thought of snatching it back. This little diamond wind was inspired by the blue-haired lion monster to become a demon by a dragon lion insect that was born with him. Although it didn't last long, it was deeply loved by the blue-haired lion monster and was definitely the reddest little demon on the Lion Camel Ridge. As long as he speaks a few bad words in front of the great king, these little demons with no background will be a place to die without a burial ground. The little diamond wind came out of the cave, banging and ringing the bell, and began to shout. The king called me to patrol the mountains, and I turned the world around. I patrolled the southern mountains, the northern mountains, the eastern entrance, and the western entrance. He shouted all the way up to a mountain peak in the west. The sky is cloudy, and the road is slippery. Turning around a few mountain corners, the small diamond wind wiped away the fine sweat from his forehead and found a piece of blue stone to sit on. Looking up at the overlapping mountains filled with demonic aura, Zhang Yuan let out a heavy sigh, feeling suppressed. A few years ago, Zhang Yuan learned that he had been admitted to graduate school. Excited, he called out a few people to celebrate at a roadside stall. However, after finishing a drink, he opened his eyes again and saw these mountain demons and water monsters, strange ghosts and monsters. And their own soul is confined within the body of a small monster. During the years of imprisonment, Zhang Yuan used the eyes of the little monster to see all aspects of the Lion Camel Ridge, and at first glance, it was 10 years. He also understood his own location and the identity of the possessed little monster. A month ago, Zhang Yuan finally found an opportunity. During the cultivation of the possessed little monster, he secretly caused it to go berserk and shatter its divine soul. He took the opportunity to devour the fragments of its divine soul and eventually turned into a small diamond wind on the Lion Camel Ridge. Because he had devoured the original owner's divine soul and spent 10 years with him day and night, Zhang Yuan perfectly took over this identity without revealing his true identity. At this point, no one knows up and down the Lion Camel Ridge that the famous figure Zhai Huanfeng by the side of the great king has actually been replaced long ago. And Zhang Yuan's first reaction after taking control of this body was to plan to escape. Not to mention that Sun Wukong is coming soon, the Lion Camel Ridge itself is enough to scare people. There are 5,000 demons in the North Mountain, 5,000 demons in the south mountain, 10,000 demons at the east entrance, 10,000 demons at the west entrance, 4 or 5,000 demons patrolling the mountain, 10,000 gatekeepers, countless people burning fires and firewood, and as many as 40. 7 or 8,000 with cards alone. On the Lion Camel Ridge, there are even more skeletons like mountains, with bones forming a forest, human hair turning into felt pieces, rotten meat turning into mud and dust, and human tendons entangled in trees. It's really a mountain of corpses and blood, with a foul smell. The human beings within a radius of 800 miles have long been eaten by the demons without a trace. Especially the big King Qin Mao lion monster and the second King Huanya old elephant in the Lion Camel Cave, as well as the 3 big kings Dapeng golden winged carving in the Lion Camel City. The 3 demon kings have extraordinary abilities. If one day they don't serve well, they can beat him into meat patties with just one slap and skewer them on a tree branch to eat. Now, Zhang Yuan has finally seized the opportunity. According to the instructions of the great king, he will patrol the mountains once a month to inspect the small demons. It will take 3 days to complete the tour of the entire Lion Camel Ridge. And mountain patrols are the only excuse for Xia's Huanfeng to stay away from the green-haired lion monster for a long time. I have finally come back to life, and I must not stay here for a long time. It is better to have enough food and drink, and to be away. With this in mind, Zhang Yuan quickly stood up, picked up the mountain patrol banger and small bell from the ground, and then forcefully stuffed the mountain patrol flag into his waist. The king called me to patrol the mountains, and I turned the world around. I patrolled the southern mountains, the northern mountains, the eastern entrance, and the western entrance. Zhang Yuan rushed westward along the mountain ditch, which was the escape route he had already planned. After running for more than 10 miles, we arrived at the western boundary of Shitua Mountain, and further west, it was a vast desert. Crossing the desert is not difficult for him. Suddenly, Zhang Yuan saw his own appearance in a small pond. Her red hair was messy like grass, and her eyes were relatively normal, but her black nose occupied most of her face, and her mouth was surprisingly large. Previous life sigh. I won't mention it anymore. Zhang Yuan remembered his current identity again. Little demon. Just like this, you'll be beaten to death wherever you go. After all, in this world, there are not only immortals and Buddhas who can slay demons. With their current abilities, even if they are not killed, they will still be led by others to play and scare children like monkeys. Besides, with the abilities of the 3 demon kings, even if they run to the ends of the earth, they have a way to catch him and he will really be roasted and eaten. Zhang Yuan, who had figured out the reality, felt the road ahead was uncertain, his legs were weak, and he sat down on the ground with straight eyes and a confused mind. After an unknown amount of time, Zhang Yuan slowly regained his senses and quickly made up his mind. We have to go back. Only by staying at Lion Camel Ridge can he not die so quickly. Moreover, he had already been inside the little diamond wind for 10 years. Although he has now become the owner of this physical body, as long as he is careful not to reveal his flaws, the 3 demon kings will not be able to discover the truth. When the cultivation level improves and there is enough self-protection power, it's not too late to run. Upon this thought, Zhang Yuan saw hope again. Standing up and patting the soil on his buttocks, Zhang Yuan walked back along the way. Click. After walking for more than a mile, the long hazy sky suddenly sounded several thunderbolts, and it rained heavily. Under the nearby cliff, there was a hidden cave entrance. Out of instinct, Zhang Yuan didn't even think about it and crawled in, trying to avoid the rain before walking. There are thousands of caves like this on the Lion Camel Ridge, many of which are connected to each other. There are many branching roads inside, forming a maze with multiple entrances and exits. After staying in the cave for a while, Zhang Yuan suddenly felt a sense. This kind of induction is very strange. His divine sense seemed to touch an endless space, a string of mysterious symbols. What is the situation? Zhang Yuan felt a bit flustered inside. After some thought, Zhang Yuan carefully walked slowly towards the cave. The deeper he went, the stronger his sense of divine consciousness became when he searched for the book garden www.zhaozhuiyuan.com. In the dark, he seemed to have even heard it. The call from a very distant place induced him to follow the sound. The call of death. Zhang Yuan felt scared and decided to escape. After turning around and taking a few steps, a huge force suddenly struck from behind. Worry. Zhang Yuan only had time to utter a vulgar sentence before being sucked deep into the cave. Bomb. After flying for an unknown distance in the cave, Zhang Yuan collided with a stone wall. In a daze, he saw a small star shining with a light blue light. It's very similar to the fireflies he saw in the fields when he was a child in his past life. Under the reflection of these granular little stars, Zhang Yuan saw himself in a small cave, where there was a stone bed with a corpse lying flat on it. Zhang Yuan trembled in fear and could hear the sound of his heart pounding wildly. After comforting himself for a while, Zhang Yuan gradually calmed down and turned around wanting to leave. This ghost place was a bit mysterious. I took a few steps but then stopped. After hesitating for a moment, Zhang Yuan tiptoed a few steps towards the stone bed, and when he stood on tiptoe to take a look, his lonely heart suddenly relaxed. Just a black and withered corpse. Next, Zhang Yuan thought of a very important question. Who brought him in? Can it be this dead corpse? I had to fly helplessly in the cave, at least hundreds of meters. Zhang Yuan suddenly became interested. Ding! Just as Zhang Yuan was staring at the corpse, there was a sudden sound in his head, followed by a mechanical and emotionless cold voice. Chapter 2. Tang Monk and his disciples are coming. You are listening at novel full.audio. A gift from the heavenly way, reaching the level of enlightenment. Have you reached the level of comprehension? Zhang Yuan felt a sense of joy in his heart. This sounds good. Although it's not an all-powerful system, having extraordinary intelligence can be considered a blessing for oneself at Lion Camel Ridge. After all, the physical body I borrowed was originally just a dragon and lion insect, with extremely poor innate intelligence. You have come to understand the hidden mystery within the corpse, which is sealed with powerful demonic power. You can cultivate and use the demonic power by observing the corpse. That's great. What I currently lack the most is demonic power. If I use the demonic power from this corpse, I may become a big demon and gain self-protection power. Then, I will have the capital to escape from the Lion Camel Ridge. However, I don't know if I can reap the power of change and return to my original form. Now, this demonic appearance is really. Sigh. I'm too lazy to take a glance at it. I'll just observe the dead body first. Next, Zhang Yuan began to observe. Soon, he clearly felt that his demonic power was rapidly increasing. The increased demonic power between a few breaths can even surpass his decades of hard cultivation. A withered corpse is like a spring of demonic power. There is no time in the cave. Zhang Yuan's observation and understanding directly resulted in 3 days and 3 nights before water and meat entered. The mechanical sound rang out again. You observed the dead corpses for 3 days and 3 nights. Damn it, 3 days and 3 nights. The demonic power from the corpses continues to enter your body, and you have transformed from a little demon to a first-order demon. Is this a first-level demon? Zhang Yuan was both surprised and overjoyed. There are 12 levels of demons. Xiao Yao, 1st to 7th level demons, De Yao, Yao Wang, Ao Sheng, and Yao Emperor correspond to the refining of essence and qi, refining of spirit in spirit, refining of spirit and returning to emptiness, refining of emptiness and combining with Tao, earth immortals, heavenly immortals, Xianxia, Tai Xianxia, Jingxian, Tai Jingxian, Daoyuo Jingxian, and Hunyuan Daoyuo Jingxian in the immortal realm. There is no demon emperor in the demon world, and the strongest one is the demon saint at the same level as the Luo Jin Xian. The green-haired lion monster and yellow-toothed old elephant on the Lion Camel Ridge, as well as the Depeng golden-winged carving in the Lion Camel City, are demons of the same rank as 3 demon kings. They do not rely solely on magical tools to discuss their demon power, and their cultivation level is on par with that of the Tai Golden Immortal in the Immortal Way. As for the hundreds of demon leaders on the Lion Camel Ridge, they are 6th and 7th order demons. After only observing the corpses for 3 days, he transformed from a little demon to a 1st order demon. This inevitably made Zhang Yuan even more curious. Who exactly is this corpse? 3 days and nights have passed, and Zhang Yuan dare not delay any longer. He needs to quickly go back and report to the 2 great kings. If the delay is too long, the green-haired lion monster will inevitably become suspicious. Although this guy is easy to deceive, he has a strong suspicion. The king called me to patrol the mountains, and I will turn the world around. A few hours later, Zhang Yuan arrived at the Lion Camel Cave. This Lion Camel Cave is located in the middle of the Lion Camel Ridge. There are 3 layers at the entrance. The first layer is a human meat and animal meat processing factory, the second layer is a garden, 7 or 8 miles long, and the third layer is the headquarters, where 3 demon kings and 30,000 little demons live. The first layer of corpses is like a mountain, with a foul smell. Zhang Yuan really wanted to pinch his nose, but he was afraid of being seen with flaws, so he could only walk forward confidently like before. During this period, many little demons greeted him. Zhang Yuan also hastily replied, just wanting to finish this journey quickly. The second floor is completely different from the first floor. It is unique and elegant, beautiful and spacious, with yao grass and flowers on both sides, and trees, pine, and bamboo in front and behind. However, even if the fragrance of flowers was overwhelming, Zhang Yuan could still smell it, with a strong smell of blood in it. On the third level, the green-haired lion monster and the yellow-toothed elephant are drinking heavily and eating meat. On the left and right sides, there are 110 demon leaders of all sizes, each fully dressed, with neat armor and a majestic and murderous aura. Although feeling nauseous in waves, Zhang Yuan walked up to the 2 demon kings with a seductive smile on his face. He first gave a deep bow and then said, 2 great kings, the mountain patrolling little demon Zai's Huanfeng has returned to report. The green-haired lion monster seemed to have drunk quite a bit, but he looked at Zhang Yuan with drowsy eyes and loudly said, Kid, you usually come back to report once every 3 days. Why did you have an extra day this time? Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuan quickly said, returning to the great king, the young man has traveled a bit further this time. He not only toured the southern and northern mountains, but also went to the eastern and western entrances, so it took more time. The blue-haired lion's nostrils responded, did something strange happen? As for the big king, I haven't encountered any strange things. The whole group of demons, big and small, all focused on their work according to the instructions of the 2 big kings. Zhang Yuan's words made the hundreds of demon leaders on both sides feel more comfortable listening, and the hanging hearts were also relieved. If Zhang Yuan said something unfavorable to them, the punishment from the next 2 kings would be unbearable for them. This is also the reason why the leaders of the big and small demons treat Zhang Yuan kindly on weekdays. Demon leaders are like this, let alone those little demons. Meeting Zhang Yuan is almost like meeting Yi. You've been patrolling the mountains all this time, come on, taste a piece of meat from you. As he spoke, the green-haired lion monster tore off a large piece of meat and handed it to Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan felt a stir in his stomach and almost fainted. This is, however, Zhang Yuan quickly realized that he did not accept the meat handed by the green-haired lion monster. Instead, he said, Great King, there are fewer and fewer humans around here, and it is not easy to catch one. How dare you be greedy, young man? If the great king wants to reward a small one, just give it a piece of animal meat. As he spoke, Zhang Yuan took a humble step forward and reached out to tear off a very small piece of meat from the wild boar's leg in the plate. The great king can reward such a piece of animal meat. I would be extremely grateful if you could find the book garden www.zhaozhuiyuan.com, he said, ahaha. The green-haired lion monster burst into a burst of laughter. Kid, you're really getting more and more discerning. I like it, haha, I really like it. Thank you very much, great king. Zhang Yuan quickly nodded and bowed. All right, go back and rest, said the green-haired lion monster. If Zhang Yuan encounters amnesty, he will raise his leg and run away. This place, he doesn't even want to stay for a second now. Come back. The green-haired lion monster suddenly roared again. Zhang Yuan trembled in fear and quickly turned back. Please give orders, great king, he said. Kid, have you heard about the Tang monk who went from the eastern Tang dynasty to the western heaven to collect scriptures? This. Of course, Zhang Yuan knows Tang Monk. This is what he saw in his previous life from Journey to the West. Tang Monk and his disciples went west to retrieve scriptures, and on the way, they had to go through 81 difficulties. They encountered 4 difficulties only at the Lion Camel Ridge. However, the original Little Diamond Wind was just a mountain patrolling demon, with a low level. It is expected that he would not know anything about Tang Monk and his disciples gathering scriptures. Big King, I'm just a little mountain patrolling demon. Who knows about the Tang Monk who went from the eastern Tang dynasty to the western heaven to collect scriptures? Please teach me, Big King. I don't know, but I'll tell you, Tang Monk is a holy monk. Eating a piece of his meat will make you immortal. Go and inform all the mountains and mouths, and keep an eye on me. Once you hear news about Tang Monk, come and report it quickly. The little ones understand, the little ones understand. Zhang Yuan quickly responded. Go. Go. The green-haired lion monster waved at Zhang Yuan and then picked up a large bowl of wine. Second brother, come on, make do with it first. In a few days, I'll catch Tang Monk and use his meat to make the wine. Chapter 3. Bottlenecks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, the green-haired lion monster was practicing swordsmanship at the martial arts training ground outside the Lion Camel Cave. This sword is a large defense sword, more than 1 zhang long and more than 3 feet wide, weighing 3,300 pounds. It comes from the Dragon Palace in the East China Sea. When Sun Wukong went to the East China Sea Dragon Palace to ask for weapons, the first thing that the East China Sea Dragon King Ao Guang brought out was this great defense blade, but Sun Wukong didn't take a liking to it. The green-haired lion monster has 2 major abilities, one is knife technique, and the other is a big mouth and a big belly. Back then, he changed his Dharma body in front of the South Heavenly Gate, opening a big mouth larger than the city gate and swallowing it with force. He scared the heavenly soldiers and generals not to confront him and quickly closed the South Heavenly Gate. Therefore, there is a saying of swallowing 100,000 heavenly soldiers and generals in one gulp. This is a bit boastful. At that time, he was at the South Heavenly Gate and couldn't even swallow a single heavenly soldier or general. However, the green-haired lion monster gained fame as a result. The tens of thousands of demons on the Lion Camel Ridge also take pride in this and often tell people that my great king once swallowed 100,000 heavenly soldiers and generals in one gulp. The green-haired lion monster finished playing a set of knife techniques, and Zhang Yuan, who was waiting on the side, quickly stepped forward and handed a large bowl of freshly poured tea. Big King, please have some tea. The green-haired lion monster took the tea bowl and had a lion drink. Big King, I have something to report, Zhang Yuan took the opportunity to say. But it doesn't matter. Yesterday, the great king instructed me to keep an eye on the Tang monk who was traveling from the eastern Tang dynasty to the western heaven to collect scriptures. I was afraid that I would miss the great king's important task and planned to break the tradition of patrolling the mountains once a month. Today, I will go to the intersection of the North Mountain, South Mountain, and the East Road to give them some explanation, so as not to accidentally miss the Tang monk. Do you think so? Go today, kid. Starting from today, you go hiking every day and report to Tang Monk as soon as you see him, said the green-haired lion monster. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuan felt secretly happy. Being liked by the green-haired lion monster is a good thing, but it is also a bad thing. The good thing is, he has become a big red little demon on the Lion Camel Ridge, and no demon dares to bully him. The bad thing is, the green-haired lion monster always tells him to do this and that, causing him to be afraid to go anywhere except for mountain patrols. Now it's good, he can go out for a walk every day without having to suffer in the Lion Camel Cave. Observing dead corpses naturally provides ample time. develop, in this way, I won't be able to report to you every day. If I miss Tang Monk on the way back, and develop won't be able to eat Tang Monk's meat, it's really a pity, Zhang Yuan pretended. There's no need to be so troublesome during this period. You just need to come back and report to Tang Monk after seeing him. Remember, Tang Monk has 3 disciples under his command, Zhu Beiji and Sha Monk. It's not enough to be afraid, but that Sun Monkey is the master of the heavenly palace. You must not fight him for greed, otherwise not only will your life be in danger, but you will also miss out on the good deeds of this great king. The little one understands, the little one will never fight with them, only come back to report. Well, go ahead. Little farewell. After leaving the sight of the green-haired lion monster, Zhang Yuan stopped and pondered for a moment. He decided to go to the west intersection of Beishan South Shandong Road for a run. This trip, even if the journey was fast, Zhang Yuan took a full 3 days. Along the way, he gave instructions to the little demons on duty at various intersections and patrolling the mountains. Once he saw Tang Monk, he immediately reported to him. If you can't find him for a while, go directly to the Lion Camel Cave and report to the 2 kings. Grinding a knife will not delay the woodcutter. If Zhang Yuan handles this matter properly, he can observe the dead corpses with peace of mind and elevate the demon level. Next, Zhang Yuan shouted all the way towards the southwest direction. On the way, without seeing the little demon, Zhang Yuan flashed into the cave. 3 days and 3 nights have passed again. This time, although Zhang Yuan could feel that his demonic power had improved significantly compared to 3 days ago, he did not achieve any new breakthroughs. Zhang Yuan left the cave and came to Nanshan. The small demons in Nanshan all showed a smirk when they saw Zhang Yuan. Is there any news about Tang Monk and his disciples? Zhang Yuan intercepted several little demons and asked. Report to the leader, no. Leader, as long as we see Tang Monk, we will definitely report to you. Leader, we dare not delay any of the things you have entrusted us with. We are constantly monitoring every intersection. Several little demons vied with each other to say. Well, not bad. Zhang Yuan showed a very satisfied expression. Boss, if we encounter Master Tang and his disciples, where should we report to you? Asked a wolf demon. I told you before. I want to patrol the entire Lion Camel Ridge, and my whereabouts are unpredictable. If you can't find me after seeing Tang Monk, go to the Lion Camel Cave to report to the 2 great kings. It's also a good opportunity for me to give you a chance to meet the 2 great kings. After speaking, Zhang Yuan banged and rang the bell, shouting all the way towards the east. The king called me to patrol the mountains, and I will turn the world around. Heading east for about a mile, Zhang Yuan took advantage of the absence of any small monsters and circled around, picking some wild fruits before returning to the cave to continue observing the dead bodies. 9 days later, the demon level was raised to the 2nd level. Zhang Yuan left the cave once again. On this trip, he went around the North Mountain but still didn't hear from Tang Monk. 18 days later, a mechanical cold sound sounded. You observe the dead corpses for 18 days, and the level of demons and others has been raised from the 2nd level to the 3rd level. It took 3 days from the little demon to the 1st level, 12 days from the 1st level to the 2nd level, and 18 days from the 2nd level to the 3rd level, and the speed was getting slower and slower, Zhang Yuan thought, feeling a little worried in his heart. You find that your speed of upgrading to the demon level is not only slowing down, but also encountering a bottleneck, which will make your next breakthrough long-lasting. The body you occupy is originally a worm-like demon on the body of the green-haired lion monster Jianhua. It lacks innate qi and blood, and its divine soul is not perfect. There are huge flaws in the book garden www.zhaozhuyuan.com itself. Only by making up for these deficiencies can you break through the bottleneck and achieve new breakthroughs. Even if one has a good understanding and a weak foundation, they still cannot break through. If the foundation is not solid, the earth will shake. Zhang Yuan couldn't help but sigh. However, this is also in line with common sense. The third-level demon is equivalent to the refining and blending realm of the immortal realm. There is already an insurmountable barrier between this realm and the earthly fairy realm. You need a drop of Demon King's true blood to transform your physical body, strengthen your qi and blood, and improve your divine soul. As long as you break through the current bottleneck, your later cultivation will be smooth. You can also absorb 3 drops of 4th-level demon's true blood, but this can only make some progress in your cultivation and cannot fundamentally transform your physical body. Yao Wang, this is an existence at the same level as Tai Jingxian. Zhang Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly and muttered to himself, there are 2 Yao Wang on the Lion Camel Ridge, and 1 in the Lion Camel City. But how can I get their true blood? True blood is different from ordinary blood. It is the condensation of the spirit and energy of a monster, extremely precious. A monster has only a few drops on its body, and if it loses a drop of true blood, its vitality will be greatly damaged. Of course, true blood has many wonderful uses, whether in cultivation or alchemy, it has great effects. For low-level demons, a drop of their true blood can transform them and greatly enhance their cultivation potential. Even though his own strength has reached the 3rd level now, Zhang Yuan is very clear in his heart that if the green-haired lion monster and the yellow-toothed elephant want to kill him, they don't need to waste a second slap. And for him, the 4th-level demon is also an invincible existence. After some contemplation, suddenly, a glimmer of inspiration flashed through Zhang Yuan's mind. He slapped his thigh fiercely and said, "There's a way." Chapter 4. Foreign Demons. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As a traveler of later generations, Zhang Yuan gained insight into the direction of the main storyline of his journey to the west. Although Tang Monk encountered 4 difficulties at the Lion Camel Ridge, the result was that none of the 3 demon kings could eat Tang Monk's meat, and his great disciple Sun Wukong did not kill the 3 demon kings. The green-haired lion monster and the yellow-toothed old elephant were subdued by Manjushri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, and returned to continue serving as their mounts. The Dipeng golden-winged eagle was subdued by the Tathagata and returned to Buddhism, feeling carefree and carefree again. If he follows this main line, he will have no chance of obtaining a drop of true blood from the 3 demon kings, and his subsequent cultivation will be hindered everywhere. After some thought, Zhang Yuan decided to carefully arrange a game of chess. Sun Wukong, on the other hand, is a crucial piece in this chess game. A plan to seize the true blood of the Demon King was quickly formulated by Zhang Yuan, and he then deduced the plan step by step in his heart. Then, he discovered 2 crucial bugs. Firstly, he did not have the capital to trade with Sun Wukong, and as a low-level demon on the Lion Camel Ridge, he could not even enter Sun Wukong's eyes. The second is that the main storyline of Journey to the West is set according to the will of the heavenly way, and one is powerless to change the heavenly way. Sigh. Zhang Yuan let out a soft sigh in his heart, with a worried expression on his face. Is this plan to seize the true blood of the Demon King really not feasible? Zhang Yuan asked himself and then began to think about how to fill these 2 loopholes. He suddenly realized that Sun Wukong was not a person who followed the rules. In his eyes, being regarded as the supreme way of heaven by mortals was just a pile of feces. Otherwise, he wouldn't have caused a commotion in the heavenly palace and challenged the Jade Emperor. When Zhang Yuan thought about this question, he felt like he had another chance. Although he does not have the capital to trade with Sun Wukong and cannot change the heavenly way, he can set up a game to induce Sun Wukong to do things according to his own will and let him change the heavenly way. As long as Sun Wukong can be brought into the game he set up, these two loopholes are not loopholes. After all, as soon as he entered a disaster, it was only natural that Sun Wukong could not help but do some unexpected things under the influence of the divine. At the next moment, Zhang Yuan carefully planned and left the cave. After walking for a few miles, he knocked the bangs, shook the gongs, and shouted all the way towards the direction of the Lion Camel Cave. At the foot of a cliff, Zhang Yuan saw three little demons. Wolf Demon, Tiger Demon, and Pig Demon. The sunshine at noon is very good, and the three guys are hiding under the cliff, lazily sleeping in the sun. Zhang Yuan kicked the Wolf Demon's buttocks with force. Ah! The Wolf Demon woke up in pain and let out a roar, which. Just as he was about to curse loudly, the Wolf Demon immediately put on a smiling face when he saw that it was a small diamond wind. Head. The leader is coming, it's impolite for me. Damn it, damn it. The awakened Tiger and Pig Demon also had a seductive smile on their faces. Leader, we have finished patrolling the mountains in this area, and looking at the good sunshine, we lay down to rest for a while without sleeping, said the Tiger Demon. Right, we promise not to sleep. When patrolling the mountains, we never sleep. The Pig Demon also showed a look that the heavens could testify to. Humph, Zhang Yuan said sternly with a stern expression, you guys are really lying with your eyes open. Do you think I'm a fool? If he wants to establish his authority among the small demons, he cannot give them too much good looks. This. The three little demons hesitated and dared not refute. Facts speak louder than words. Alright, since we've finished patrolling this mountain, take a nap for a while. I don't blame you either. Let's just pretend this hasn't happened before and we can't do it again in the future. Thank you for the leader's forgiveness, I promise not to do it again, the three little demons said in unison. Can you hear the news of Tang Monk? No. Did you encounter any strange things during the mountain tour? Yes, said the Tiger Demon directly. What strange thing? Some snake demons have come from the desert to the west, said the Tiger Demon. Do you know where these snake demons come from? I heard it came from the desert in the north. On the edge of the desert, there was a sect of human cultivators who often entered the desert to kill demons and practice martial arts. The unbearable power of snake demons migrated to this desert. Xia's Huanfeng frowned slightly. Since they are foreign demons, why not visit the two great kings at the Lion Camel Ridge? I don't know, the Tiger Demon said sincerely. Are these snake demons strong or not? How many are there? About 1,000 powerful demons died in the battle, leaving only a few scattered pieces. The strongest ones were a few fourth-order demons, said the Wolf Demon first. Have you seen them? I haven't seen it before. We heard a Sparrow Demon say it. These snake demons only came last night and dare not step on the territory of Lion Camel Ridge, said the Pig Demon. Go and call the Sparrow Demon for me, Zhang Yuan instructed. At that moment, he suddenly had an idea. Boss, wait a moment, I'll go call him right away. The Wolf Demon finished speaking and ran away quickly. Soon. Gee. A sharp cry came from the air. A small Sparrow Demon landed in front of Zhang Yuan. I've met the leader. Tell me in detail about the snake demon in the desert, Zhang Yuan said coldly. Upon hearing Zhang Yuan's tone and seeing his expression, the Sparrow Demon couldn't help but glare fiercely at the three little demons. Zhaoshuyuan.com. When looking at Zhang Yuan, he changed to a smirk. Don't worry, I won't blame you for leaving the Lion Camel Ridge without permission, nor will I report this to the two kings. Zhang Yuan naturally knew the reason why the sparrow demon stared at the three little demons. The green-haired lion monster has strict regulations, and the demons on the Lion Camel Ridge are not allowed to leave without permission. The sparrow demon immediately showed a grateful expression. Thank you very much for the leader's forgiveness. Speak up. Report to the leader. Early this morning, I spread my wings and flew over the desert for a circle. I saw many snake demons on the Dead Man Beach, so I landed on the clouds and approached to inquire. It was only then that I found out they were a branch of the 10,000 snake continent in the northwest desert. Due to their unbearable slaughter by human cultivators, they migrated to this desert. The leader, I have warned them not to step into the Lion Camel Ridge. Is it true that the strongest member of this snake demon family is only a 4th-level demon? Exactly. How many such demons are there? More than 10. Who have you told about this to? Just tell the 3 of them. Zhang Yuan nodded and said, Sparrow, as the inspector of the Lion Camel Ridge, I have the responsibility of inspecting the small demons on the mountain patrol. I also report the strange things that have happened in each mountain to the 2 kings. Remember, if you encounter such things again in the future, you must report them to me as soon as possible. Zhang Yuan said coldly. I understand now, said the sparrow demon quickly. Alright, you guys go hiking. The 4 demons hurriedly left like facing amnesty. Zhang Yuan looked lost in thought. What do you really want? Since the Demon King's true blood cannot be obtained for a while, let's first get a few drops of 4th-order demon's true blood from this snake demon family to make do with it. Chapter 5. Unscrupulous Conspiracy. You are listening at novel full.audio. Zhang Yuan originally wanted to disguise himself, apply some mud and black ash on his body and face, and then put the green-haired lion monster in the next set to help him complete the plan of borrowing a knife to kill the demon. But after thinking for a moment, I felt it was not appropriate. This green-haired lion monster is a demon king. Not only is it suspicious by nature, but it also has the ability to observe fire like a cave. If it does not have the aura of an external demon like the snake demon family, it is difficult for the green-haired lion monster to believe it. When the time comes, stealing chickens will not erode the rice. It seems that in order to obtain 3 precious drops of 4th-level demon true blood, one needs to take some risks. Anyway, it's just a touch of the foreign demon's aura, not to knock on their door. After careful consideration, Zhang Yuan had already made up his mind and carried the command flag. Following the instructions of the sparrow demon, he quickly walked towards the desert. After obtaining demonic power from the corpse and being promoted to a 3rd-level demon, although Zhang Yuan did not master any martial arts or supernatural powers, his physical fitness was much stronger than before due to the blessing of demonic power. Soon, Zhang Yuan arrived in the desert. After entering the desert, Zhang Yuan clattered and transformed into a dragon-lion insect. This insect, with a head like a lion and a body like a dragon, and possessing insect-like characteristics, is a peculiar insect in the world. Zhang Yuan flapped his wings and flew deep into the desert. The group of snake demons from the desert have good cultivation. In order not to be discovered, Zhang Yuan can only transform into a prototype. In the endless desert, there are few trees, and even monsters can only live in those places. Soon, Zhang Yuan arrived near a small oasis. I saw blood shining in this place, with a strong odor and occasional animal roar. It seems that this is the resting place for those snake demons. Zhang Yuan didn't dare to fly too forward, but stopped and glided in the air from a distance. After careful observation, he quickly seized the opportunity. I saw 2 snake-tailed monsters walking together towards the desert, seemingly looking for food. Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan flapped his wings and followed these 2 snake demons, leaving the oasis. These 2 snake demons, one is 2nd order and the other is 3rd order, did not find Zhang Yuan in mid-air. Through the casual conversation between these 2 snake demons along the way, Zhang Yuan not only confirmed the information provided by the sparrow demon, but also learn some other things. Two snake demons chatted and walked away from the oasis. Seeing that the time was approaching, Zhang Yuan secretly flew forward and fiercely bit the neck of the second-level demon. "Who is it? How dare you sneak attack your master?" The snake demon cursed angrily, and the snake demon beside him quickly spewed out a poisonous mist, enveloping himself. At the same time, he opened his mouth and said, "We are under the command of 10,000 snake continents. Who are you?" "We are descendants of Grandma Wanxi. Dare to secretly bite me? Believe it or not, I will make you suffer the punishment of Wanxi." Zhang Yuan, who was in mid-air, was too lazy to pay attention to these two snake demons and just casually said, "Boys, I am the king here. If you want to live from now on, stay behind to buy road wealth." Zhang Yuan's words were very contemptuous. He was originally meant to cause trouble, so his words naturally need to be somewhat provocative. As for pretending to be the king and not exposing the identity of Zai's Huanfeng, it is to allow these two snake demons to act recklessly. After all, Lion Camel Ridge is well known, and Zhang Yuan is worried that they won't dare to take action once they know their identity. Seeing Zhang Yuan's demeanor and seemingly lacking in powerful cultivation, the two snake demons were extremely angry, thinking that he was a wild monster with no inheritance. They then cast spells, stirred up a demonic wind, and attacked Zhang Yuan. Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan wrapped himself in demonic power and then pretended to be invincible. His body was stained with the venomous mist of the snake demon, and he let out screams of agony. "You dare to attack me, are you not afraid of my Lion Camel Ridge?" At the next moment, the two snake demons were taken aback, but before they could speak, Zhang Yuan had already flashed his wings and flew away far away. 100 miles away, Zhang Yuan saw that the snake demon was not chasing him, so he quickly fell to the ground and sprinkled the poisonous mist he had just obtained from the snake demon on himself. The foul and green toxic mist fell on Zhang Yuan, quickly corroding his clothes and even leaving some small wounds on his body. Summoning a spell to observe his own appearance, Zhang Yuan grabbed the dirt and smeared it on his face, making himself look more embarrassed. After completing these tasks, Zhang Yuan vigorously waved the command flag in his hand and ran towards the Lion Camel Ridge, shouting all the way. "Help! Brothers from Lion Camel Ridge, come and help me quickly." The Lion Camel Ridge covers a wide area and is guarded by many small monsters patrolling the mountain. Soon, a group of monsters patrolling the mountain discovered Zhang Yuan who was running away. "Zai's Huanfeng, what's wrong with you?" The monster led by Zhang Yuan was a fourth-order cat demon, and with a few leaps, it came to Zhang Yuan's side. Seeing that the monster at Lion Camel Ridge had already discovered himself, Zhang Yuan was ruthless and controlled the demon power inside his body to charge back. With a puff sound, he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and nervously said, "Quickly, take me to see the king. I have important intelligence to report." After speaking, Zhang Yuan closed his eyes and pretended to faint. The cat demon looked at Zhang Yuan in his arms and was immediately scared and sweating all over. Xiao Xuanfeng was a popular figure next to the big king, not to mention him. Even a 7th-level monster would not easily offend him. "You guys continue to patrol the mountains, I'll take Zai's Huanfeng back." Before the words could be finished, the cat demon had already run towards the Lion Camel Ridge with Zhang Yuan in its arms. Along the way, the cat demon kept shouting, and soon, many monsters knew that the famous little diamond whined beside the big king had fallen into a coma when facing danger. A few people with eyes have already returned to the cave early and reported to the green-haired lion monster. When the cat demon returned to the cave, the green-haired lion monster, who was practicing swordsmanship in the martial arts field, had already stood at the door, with thousands of monsters standing behind him, truly imposing. "What's going on?" Watching the little diamond wind, the green-haired lion monster ignited anger in its heart. Although Zai's Huanfeng's strength is very poor, he is an innate creature born with him, and they have a deep relationship. He also likes Zai's Huanfeng's cleverness. Now that he is injured, he immediately roars and is scared to the point where all the monsters in the mountain dare not speak. Seeing Xia's Huanfeng still sleeping in the arms of the cat demon, the green-haired lion monster took out a pill and asked the cat demon to feed it to Zhang Yuan. After taking the pill, Zhang Yuan slowly opened his eyes and saw the green-haired lion monster. He rolled over and knelt down on the ground, wailing, "King, I'm sorry for you. I've caused you shame." At this moment, Zhang Yuan was covered in tattered clothes, with blood in many places. His face was pale and very miserable. After hearing these words, it was truly sad for those who heard them, and tears for those who saw them. "Hello, it's easy to explain clearly. What's going on?" The green-haired lion frowned. Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan directly approached the actor and, while patrolling the mountains, heard the sparrow demon mention that a snake demon had migrated to a nearby desert in Wuxia Island. In a moment of anxiety, he approached the book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com alone and wanted them to come and pay their respects to the king. Unexpectedly, the snake demon would fight whenever they met, and he added insult to injury to his disdain for the Lion Camel Ridge. Listening to his account, not only the green-haired lion monster, but also many other monsters were furious. The Dewang, these snake demons actually looked down on Lion Camel Ridge. We must give them some color to see. Dare to disrespect the Lion Camel Ridge and destroy them. For a moment, the demons and spirits of Lion Camel Ridge were enraged. The green-haired lion monster listened to the roar of the demons and carefully scrutinized Zhang Yuan. Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan quickly said, "I have given you my name. They are not willing to submit and even beat me up. Your Majesty, they are beating you in the face." Although the green-haired lion monster vaguely felt that something was wrong, he had used his divine sense to investigate the injuries on Zhang Yuan's body, and there was no false evidence. The wounds on his body were indeed caused by the venom of a snake demon, and he also sensed the breath of an external demon. Under Zhang Yuan's arched fire, there was a fact in front of him. The ground green-haired lion monster couldn't help but not believe it. He pondered for a moment and said to Zhang Yuan, "Since they look down on my Lion Camel Ridge, kid, you can lead a team of troops to deal with that group of snake demons." After speaking, the green-haired lion monster threw a token to Zhang Yuan and returned to the cave. Looking at the distant green-haired lion monster, Zhang Yuan repeatedly thanked him, but secretly laughed in his heart. "Even if you are the Lion Camel King who defeated the Southern Heavenly Gate, what if I still hold on to you? If it were in my past life, my acting skills wouldn't be too much of a little golden man." After making a gesture and waiting for the figure of the green-haired lion monster to disappear, Zhang Yuan turned around and raised the token in his hand, shouting, "Who is willing to go to war with me and take down that group of snake demons?" Chapter 6. Genocide. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Me. I'm still going, old cow. Don't snatch it, these are all snake demons, they happen to be restrained by me. For a moment, the crowd was furious, and the monster leaders present were all eager to follow Zhang Yuan to conquer these snake demons. But Zhang Yuan had a clear mind. Although these demon leaders seemed to be showing positive behavior, there were actually not many who genuinely wanted to follow him, especially the powerful demon leaders with abundant cultivation resources. They were just responding with a few shouts and making a superficial statement. Although monsters have a late onset of intelligence and many small monsters are clumsy, the worst of these leaders are 6th-level monsters, who have long been incredibly intelligent. War will kill people, why should we have fun on the Lion Camel Ridge? They are also not lacking in cultivation resources and spiritual treasures. As Zhang Yuan pondered, he looked around at the demons. Soon, he had a calculation in his heart. He first said to the lion monster that was occupying a relatively high position, "Brother Lion, could you please come and run this time yourself? This yellow-haired lion has a 7th-level cultivation and is of the same clan as the green-haired lion monster." It holds a good position in the Lion Camel Ridge and is highly trusted by the green-haired lion monster. It also has a good relationship with the Little Diamond Wind. Zhang Yuan ordered him to participate in the battle, which is very advantageous for him from any perspective. After clicking on the main general, Zhang Yuan looked at some monsters on the periphery. Most of these monsters have low cultivation levels, and among the many demon leaders in the Lion Camel Ridge, they belong to those who lack benefits and are eager to go out and gain some benefits. Before long, Zhang Yuan selected 3 of these demon leaders. A wild chicken demon, a stone monster, and a wolf demon all have 6th level cultivation. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't invite you to accompany me this time. It's not that I look down on you, but because we have destroyed a small snake demon family. We really can't use such a big battle. Next time. If we have such an opportunity again, I will definitely trouble you all. Zhang Yuan spoke grandiose words to the remaining demon leaders. Having suffered many hardships in his past life, Zhang Yuan had already accumulated capital. It was easy to coax these monsters with words. After all, there are some demon leaders with missing interests here who still want to follow him. Little Diamond Wind, the token of the great king is in your hand. How do you say to hit it? The yellow-haired lion smiled, carrying a sledgehammer. Chiga, with your rank, there's no need to personally take action. Just press down on the formation and leave the matter of killing the snake demon to the 3 of them. Zhang Yuan seized the opportunity to give the lion monster a big hat. The lion monster chuckled and said, "Little Diamond Wind, no wonder the great king likes you so much. When you say this, it makes people feel comfortable to listen. Okay, I'll listen to you." Quickly, several monsters happily led their demon soldiers and flew towards the desert, riding the demon wind with a clatter. With just a few breaths, a group of monsters arrived near the small oasis, and the foul smell of snake monsters made all the monsters pinch their noses. Later, the 3 leaders will each lead their troops to surround one side, while Lion 7 and I will guard this area. After 20 breaths, we will attack at the same time. Zhang Yuan arranged the tactics and several monster leaders flew quickly around the small oasis with their subordinates. This time when they came to the desert, the monsters were angry for the small diamond wind and for the majesty of the Xianxia Camel Ridge, so they did not conceal their demonic aura. The snake demons in the small oasis have long received news and are now gathering together under the leadership of more than 10 fourth-order snake demons. May I ask where you are from as monsters? What advice do you have? The voice of the leading snake demon, enveloped by demonic power, spread throughout the 4 directions. Compared to the wild monsters, these powerful monster families with power and heritage still speak with some courtesy. But there was no response. Feeling the powerful aura of monsters surging from all directions, but not receiving a response for a long time, these snake demons suddenly felt a bit flustered in their hearts. At this moment, 3 monster leaders have surrounded the small oasis, and the agreed 20 breaths have also arrived. Suddenly, the shouting of killing echoed through the sky, and the 3 leaders, along with their elite monsters, charged towards the oasis. Waves of demonic aura covered the sky, even the pungent smell of snake monsters was washed away. How dare you ignore our king? Damn it! My Lion Camel Ridge, is it something you lowly creatures can despise? The 3 monster leaders led the charge while angrily cursing. Listening to these words, more than 10 fourth-order snake demons looked bewildered. They naturally knew the reputation of Xianxia Ridge for a long time, so they chose a foothold more than 300 miles away from Xianxia Ridge to avoid offending it. But before they could explain, the monsters of Lion Camel Ridge had already stood on the small oasis. The defensive formation that the snake demon was proud of was breached in just a few breaths. The strongest of these snake monsters is level 4, and the monsters from Lion Camel Ridge have the lowest cultivation level of level 4, with the leader being level 6. They can be considered as elite soldiers and strong generals from Lion Camel Ridge. Moreover, Zhang Yuan also knew that the green-haired lion monster had a group of loyal soldiers called the Swallowing Heavenly Army, all of whom were 7th-level monsters, with their leaders even being big monsters. For a moment, the snake demons screamed incessantly, and under the slaughter of the Lion Camel Ridge demon soldiers, they quickly died tragically and transformed into prototypes. Some demon soldiers rise up and become prototypes, biting and killing a snake demon with just one bite. However, in just a few seconds, the snake demon was killed 7 or 8 times. Zhang Yuan couldn't help but think of the scene of an avalanche as he watched this scene. This also made him feel fortunate. I have no magical powers, no magical treasures, and no 3rd or 4th level cultivation. It's really difficult to obtain the 4th level monster essence and blood. But now, using Little Diamond Wind's identity, he has killed a group of 4th-order monsters in an instant. Damn it! Watching the tragic death of their fellow tribe, the snake demon led by them looked at the sky with hatred. The next moment, he saw a spray of blood essence, followed by a piece of scale flying off his body. Suddenly, a colorful radiance walked upstream of the scales, and a powerful momentum surged out, instantly suppressing numerous monsters. Did a demon king pass by? Not good, this group of snake demons has invited the demon king. Seeing this strange phenomenon, the monsters attacking the small oasis immediately fell into panic. After all, the demon king is an existence that surpasses the Tai Golden Immortal, and killing them is just a matter of blowing a whistle. Looking at the colorful radiance on the small oasis, Zhang Yuan felt trembling all over as his instincts rooted deep in his blood frantically signaled for him to escape. Brother Lion, please take action. Suppressing the fear from high-level suppression, Zhang Yuan said to the yellow-haired lion beside him. The yellow-haired lion nodded solemnly and raised its hammer high in its hand. And that colorful radiance, now carrying a snake demon covered in blood, rose up into the sky and charged towards the direction where Zhang Yuan was. Previously, Zhang Yuan instructed 3 leaders to attack Oasis from 3 directions, which was a strategy of encircling 3 and releasing 1, in order to prevent the snake demon and dog from jumping over the wall and taking out their trump cards to perish with everyone. After all, these snake monsters come from the 10,000 snake continent. Although they cannot compare to the Lion Camel Ridge, they have also produced many powerful monsters. They can't be sure what powerful magic treasures they hold in their hands. And since I have lived my life again and obtained the golden finger, I naturally prioritize my own safety in everything. Staying with the strongest yellow-haired lion is also for this reason. As the colorful radiance approached, the yellow-haired lion raised its hammer above its head and stood still like a sculpture. At the same time, waves surged and the momentum on the yellow-haired lion grew stronger and stronger. Zhang Yuan looked at the sledgehammer he was holding high, and then at the bulging muscles. He almost thought he was not lifting the sledgehammer, but a high mountain, and the power contained in it made Zhang Yuan envious. Get out of here. With a roar, the yellow-haired lion forcefully smashed the sledgehammer. After colliding with the hammer, the colorful radiance flew backwards and landed in the desert at a faster speed than before, triggering waves of dust storms. At the same time, Zhang Yuan also froze in place. A cold mechanical voice echoed again in his mind. Chapter 7. Free Joy on the Door. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. You observed the snake demon using the 5-colored snake Jiao True Scale, and were shocked by the True Scale escape technique. With the help of your rebellious understanding, you comprehended the embryonic form of the great divine skill. 5 Elements True Escape. The 5 Elements True Escape is the embryonic form of the great divine skill 5 Elements Heavenly Escape, which is the inherent divine skill of the colorful snake and dragon. One day, this divine skill will have the opportunity to advance to the great divine skill 5 Elements Heavenly Escape. You, who possess the true escape of the 5 elements, can be your support from now on. You can go to anything that belongs to the 5 elements. Zhang Yuan once heard from the green-haired lion monster about the 5 elements heavenly cycle. The so-called 5 elements true escape, in simple terms, refers to using the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth as a medium to apply the escape method or become invisible within it. Among many escape methods, it is also an extremely powerful one. The 5 elements heavenly escape, on the other hand, is on par with other great powers such as the golden light of the vertical earth and the endless distance, making it extremely sharp in fighting and saving lives. Without waiting for Zhang Yuan to ponder deeply, that voice rang out again. You observed the yellow-haired lion casting spells, influenced by its charm, and with the help of your supernatural intelligence, you have come to understand spells. Take them lightly. From now on, the weight of the item in your hand will increase, making it heavier than 1,000 pounds of giant stones, doubling its power, and greatly improving your melee ability. After careful grinding, you have learned the magic of lifting a heavy weight is as light as a feather, by following the same path and comprehending it. 1,000 pounds of giant stones are as light as a feather to you. You have successfully obtained the spell lifting light as if heavy and lifting heavy as if light. By combining the two, you can obtain a small divine power. The surge of power. Your mastery of your own power has reached a new level, and you can unleash thousands of times more power. Everything in your hands is just a plaything. The embryonic form of the great divine power, the true escape of the 5 elements. Little divine power, the surge of power. 2 divine powers, is this the rhythm of opening and hanging? Zhang Yuan's face was full of astonishment. He never expected that he would only observe a battle and comprehend 2 divine powers. For a moment, his heart was extremely hot. Little diamond wind, the colorful scales are just the remnants of a large demon about to break through to the level of the demon king, with only some remaining demonic power. Although there are some strange things, they are not enough to be afraid of. The yellow-haired lion saw Zhang Yuan's surprised expression and thought he was scared by the colorful scales, so he kindly explained a few words. Listening to the words of the yellow-haired lion, Zhang Yuan quickly suppressed his inner joy and changed his expression. He said to the yellow-haired lion, "Brother Lion, you are really impressive. Even if this snake demon used his trump card, he was defeated by your one move. Wearing thousands of clothes, not flattering." At this moment, dust has already fallen on the small oasis, and many snake demons have been killed. The large number of spiritual items they brought when escaping from the 10,000 snake continent have been collected by the Lion Camel Ridge monsters. And the 5-colored true scale lost the essence and blood supply of the snake demon, but with a slight struggle, it was subdued by the yellow-haired lion. This thing is good, it can be trained into a magical tool. The yellow-haired lion played with the scales in his hand with satisfaction. Upon seeing Zhang Yuan arrive, the leader of the wolf demon pulled out 2 snake demons with great eyes and said, "Xiaozuanfeng, these 2 snake demons have a similar aura to the poisonous mist on your body. I didn't kill them, so I'm waiting for you to deal with them." These 2 guys are exactly the 2 snake demons that Zhang Yuan encountered when he came to the small oasis before. Now that he sees Zhang Yuan, he quickly asks for mercy. Zhang Yuan secretly praised his caution and reminded himself that in the world of traveling to the west, the monster methods here are mysterious and unpredictable. He must be cautious in everything and ensure that there is no leakage. If the horse's feet are exposed, it may be a dead end. Zhang Yuan took the weapon handed over by the wolf demon and stepped forward with a few cuts to kill the 2 trapped snake demons. "Thank you very much," Zhang Yuan said while returning the knife to the wolf demon. The 3 monster leaders selected by Zhang Yuan were promoted very late, with the lowest strength and no connections, and many good things were not their turn. Now that they have the opportunity to work with the famous people in front of the great king, they naturally want to try their best to please them. And this is also the reason why Zhang Yuan chose them. I don't know what the future situation will be, but if we make some friends in advance, we won't lose out no matter what. Moreover, I don't need to give anything and can still earn favors from the public. According to the rules of Lion Camel Ridge, half of the loot seized belongs to the owner, and the remaining half must be handed in. Not long after, many genius treasures, including these snake demon true blood bone scales, were piled up in the center of the small oasis. Many monsters were eagerly looking at Zhang Yuan. The emperor is not short of hungry soldiers. They are willing to travel hundreds of miles and constantly please Zhang Yuan, isn't it for this moment? Although Zhang Yuan has the lowest strength, he is appointed by the green-haired lion monster. The token is in hand. Of course, he has the final say in how to distribute the spoils. The thoughts of the monsters were clear to Zhang Yuan, and he turned his gaze to the yellow-haired lion. The yellow-haired lion is the highest cultivator present and has a special relationship with the green-haired lion monster, so it is natural to consider his thoughts first. Seeing the crowd looking at him, the yellow-haired lion waved its colorful scales and said, "I don't want those things anymore, this belongs to me." The 5 colored scales are the only true scales on the 5-colored snake dragon, which is about to break through the Demon King. It can be considered the most valuable item among the spoils of this battle. Even if half of it is surrendered, the rest is very valuable. Among the monsters, the law of the jungle is the norm, and the yellow-haired lion monopolizes the benefits. The monsters dare not have any objections in their hearts. After dealing with the yellow-haired lion, Zhang Yuan said to the 3 leaders, "Thank you, everyone. You can choose these things first." Upon hearing these words, the 3 demon leaders quickly waved their hands and said in unison, "Zhang Huanfeng, you are the leader this time, so you should take the lead." If it weren't for Zhang Yuan, how would they have had the chance to get this fat difference? Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan did not refuse to go to the Shuyuan website www.zhaoshuyuan.com and chose among numerous spoils of war. Divine powers have levels, and magical tools naturally also have levels. They are divided into 6 categories. Magical tools, magical treasures, acquired spiritual treasures, innate spiritual treasures, acquired supreme treasures, and innate supreme treasures. They are further subdivided based on their effects, materials, and other factors. This time, the demons of Lion Camel Ridge obtained several magical weapons, but only 8 treasures. After some selection, Zhang Yuan chose a small blue flag and said, "Everyone, this flag is excellent. It is very suitable for me to hold it and patrol the mountains for the great king." This flag is called Qingmu flag. It is among the treasures and has extremely high quality, capable of attacking and defending. It also imprisons a Qingmu wolf inside, and several leaders are very keen on it. But since Zhang Huanfeng is interested, they can only think about it. After taking the Qingmu flag into his pocket, Zhang Yuan chose another protective tool, and finally set his sights on his true goal. "I have the lowest cultivation level. I'll take a few more of this essence and blood." As he spoke, Zhang Yuan took 5 drops of the refined 4th-level monster true blood directly. Although only 3 drops are needed, it's not wrong to keep a few extra drops as a backup. "I'll take these, you guys share the rest." Zhang Yuan then reminded him, "Don't forget that half of it needs to be handed over to the cave." "We know." Next, the 3 leaders began to distribute spoils of war and even engaged in occasional fights. Playing with the greenwood flag in his hand, Zhang Yuan's heart was like a galloping horse, full of joy. This time out, not only did I receive the 4th-level monster true blood and receive top-notch magic treasures, but I also comprehended and mastered 2 divine powers. 3 blessings are upon us. Sure enough, killing and setting fire to the golden belt, the ancients were honest and did not deceive me. Chapter 8. Total Drilling Wind. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soon, several monster leaders were arguing and properly distributing the spoils of war. Zhang Yuan approached and saw that there were still many good items among the remaining spoils to be handed over to the cave. The selection of spoils this time is only up to Zhang Yuan and the 4 demon leaders. As for the other demon soldiers, they can only wait for the allocation of the leaders. It's almost time, it's time to go. With Zhang Yuan's command, the monsters either carried their backs, some showing their true form, and took away numerous spiritual objects. When it comes, it is fierce, but when it comes back, it is overjoyed. The entire Lion Camel Ridge soon learned that the little diamond wind had led the people to victory and seized a large amount of supplies. Many monsters looked enviously at the various monsters. At least Wuxia Island is a force that has had a demon king in its ancestors, with a strong foundation. Even if driven away by the human race, this fleeing snake demon carries a large amount of precious resources, which is equivalent to the wealth of several 7th-level monsters. Many genius treasures are used to cultivate monsters, which is very important for the demon clan like Lion Camel Ridge. For many days, Zhang Yuan had become accustomed to the taste of a meat and blood processing factory and soon arrived at the 3rd floor of the cave. At this moment, the green-haired lion monster is drinking with the yellow-toothed elephant. "I've seen the big king in the second king, little one." Zhang Yuan respectfully handed the token to the table in front of the Lion Camel King, afraid to look at the human flesh on the plate. "Xia's Huanfeng, did this trip go smoothly?" The body of the yellow-toothed old elephant is a 6-toothed white elephant with infinite strength, and like the green-haired lion monster, it is a congenital alien. Seeing the old elephant with yellow teeth asking a question, Zhang Yuan hurriedly said, "Thanks to the blessings of the 2 great kings, this trip has been extremely smooth. These are some of our thoughts." Speaking, Zhang Yuan turned to his side, and the 3 leaders including the wolf demon quickly led numerous demon soldiers, carrying the genius treasure captured from the snake demon's hand and placing it on the open ground. For the green-haired lion monster and yellow-toothed elephant, these things are not worth mentioning at all, but they are still important for the little demons under their command. The food, drink, and labor of the 2 demons nowadays are all contributed by the little demons. These resources can make them more loyal to themselves and work hard. The 2 demon kings nodded with great satisfaction. "Well done, this king is very happy. These are yours now." Although Zhang Yuan and others have already received half of the spoils as rewards, for the green-haired lion monster, a little reward can motivate their subordinates to work actively, and this transaction is definitely worth it. The green-haired lion monster waved its hand and pushed a large plate of human flesh on the table, which was supported by the demon's force and sent to Zhang Yuan and other monsters. Looking at the human flesh in front of them, several monsters drooled and quickly thanked. People eat livestock, and after these livestock become monsters, they also love to eat human flesh, but because there are too many monsters in the Lion Camel Ridge, they can't eat human flesh several times a year. Zhang Yuan felt a wave of nausea as he looked at these meats. Although he had become a demon in his past life, he could never eat them now. The last reward, he took the initiative to tear off a small piece of animal meat to avoid it. This time, he cannot repeat the old trick. Repeatedly refusing, the green-haired lion monster surely became suspicious. Where is there a demon that doesn't eat human flesh? With a blink of an eye, Zhang Yuan quickly stepped forward and said, "2 kings, the little one doesn't want this, the little one wants something else." As soon as these words were spoken, the monsters in the cave widened their eyes. The green-haired lion monster speaks without hesitation throughout the entire Lion Camel Ridge. Apart from the yellow-toothed elephant and the golden-winged giant ping eagle, no monster dares to refuse his orders, let alone make demands on him. The green-haired lion monster paused for a moment and looked at Zhang Yuan with some curiosity. "What do you want?" Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan said, "Great king, I haven't known what's going on lately. I just feel like there's a spiritual energy seeping into my body from heaven and earth, and I have a new perspective on some things. Even my eternal strength has made some progress. I have achieved what I am today thanks to the grace of the great king. Although my strength has improved, it is still low. I want to better serve the great king, so I hope the great king can grant me a martial arts skill." Zhang Yuan came through time travel and was favored by the heavenly way. If he actively hides, it will be difficult for non-saints to see through his situation. This is also the reason why Zhang Yuan broke through from a small demon to a 3rd order monster, and many monsters in the Lion Camel Ridge did not notice it. As Zhang Yuan took the initiative to reveal a hint of aura, many monsters present discovered that this little diamond wind, which had always been a small demon strength, now surprisingly has a first-order strength. Looking at the many surprised monsters, Zhang Yuan secretly felt grateful that he had hidden a hand and did not show his true strength, otherwise it would definitely arouse suspicion. After all, he is an enlightened monster, and his innate conditions make it difficult for him to improve his strength, let alone break through several levels in a short period of time. After observing for a while, the green-haired lion monster was quite pleased. Back then, you were born with me from birth, I was born divine, but you were ignorant and ignorant. Tens of thousands of years later, I realized I was lonely, so I enlightened you to accompany me. Unfortunately, my technique of enlightenment was not proficient at that time, which resulted in your spiritual deficiency and stupidity. Even though you have been following me for tens of thousands of years, now you have normal wisdom, but your strength has not made any progress. Now that there are variables, it seems that years of cultivation have allowed you to restore your divine soul and have the possibility of cultivation. Let's do this. Later, hold my token and go to the secret library to select a skill. The words of the green-haired lion monster caused a commotion among the demons present. They all knew that Xia's Huanfeng had a special status in the Lion Camel Ridge, but they didn't expect him to have such a connection with the great king. For a moment, many monsters were jealous, envious, and resentful of him. Zhang Yuan secretly rejoiced and asked the green-haired lion monster for his martial arts skills. It was something he had already decided on, but he didn't expect it to go so smoothly. Taking the token, before Zhang Yuan could thank him, the green-haired lion monster said again, I used to think that your strength was low, so I only wanted you to be a little diamond wind. Now that you have the possibility of advancement and have changed your spirituality, you can be a total diamond wind. Speaking, the green-haired lion monster reached out and threw a token to little diamond wind. In the Lion Camel Ridge, there are a total of 18 small diamond winds on zhaozuiyuan.com. Now that Zhang Yuan has become the main diamond wind, these 17 small diamond winds are his subordinates. Including the subordinates of these monsters, Zhang Yuan's subordinates now have hundreds of monsters. Thank you very much for the king's trust. I will definitely patrol the mountains and collect intelligence. Go down. The green-haired lion monster nodded, picked up its wine glass, and continued to have fun with the yellow-toothed old elephant beside it. Hang the token of Zhang's Huanfeng around his waist, and Zhang Yuan swaggered out of the cave. Master Diamond Wind, please stay behind. As soon as Zhang Yuan walked out of the cave where the green-haired lion monster was located, he heard shouts coming from behind. Turning his head, he saw that it was the three monster leaders who followed him to conquer the snake demon. What do the three of you call me? Zhang Yuan said. Hi, this time we have a fat difference, it's all because of your support. This small gift is a token of our appreciation. Don't mind it, please accept it. As he spoke, the wolf demon led by him took out a jade bottle and handed it to Zhang Yuan. As for the wild chicken demon and the stone monster, they each had their own opinions. If you have any orders in the future, just come to us directly. We, the 110 monsters, are all your friends. Listening to the wolf demon's words, Zhang Yuan suddenly understood that these three monsters were trying to please him. There are tens of thousands of monsters on the Lion Camel Ridge, but they don't have much connections and their strength is not outstanding. They can only catch everything they can. After thinking for a moment, Zhang Yuan felt that he might need them. With a smile on his face, he said, okay, let's have more interactions in the future. Upon hearing this, the three demons were immediately overjoyed. If you can't catch a big tree, it's better to have a small tree covering it. Zhang Yuan walked towards another fork in the road. At the end of this fork in the road is the Shichuoling Secret Library. Chapter 9. Contact 1. The Law of Phagocytosis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Compared with the human race, all animals are born ignorant, and their cultivation can only rely on instinct, swallow the essence of the sun and the moon, and so on. When the cultivation reaches a certain level, they will open their minds, and gradually have even more superhuman wisdom. And some individuals with unique blood vessels can obtain cultivation techniques and awaken the divine power of blood vessels from their blood vessels. Like Zhang Yuan's previous understanding of the 5 elements of true escape and the surge of power, it is the bloodline divine power of the colorful snake dragon and the yellow-haired lion. But demon clans with bloodlines are only a few and far between. Most demon clans do not have much bloodline inheritance and can only rely on instincts for cultivation. In addition to storing a large number of genius earth treasures, magical tools, and elixirs, there are also many cultivation techniques in the Lion Camel secret library. These martial arts are all left by the ancestors of the demon tribe and are very suitable for their cultivation. However, the quality is uneven, and some can only cultivate to second-level monsters. It is said that the green-haired lion monster has a cultivation technique to become a demon saint, but this is still too far away for Zhang Yuan now. Stop. More than 3 zhang away from the secret repository, a 3 zhang tall elephant demon stopped loudly. This is the important area of Lion Camel Ridge, no one is allowed to approach without permission. Zhang Yuan took out the token given by the green-haired lion monster and handed it over. I have received a reward from the great king, so I can enter the secret library and choose any skill at will. This elephant demon is a descendant of the yellow-toothed old elephant. He knew Zhang Yuan, saw that he had a token, and confirmed his true identity. He gestured to his subordinates to open the door. Turn right and walk forward, that's where the cultivation method is located. Thank you very much. With a few thanks, Zhang Yuan stepped into the secret library. In the secret repository, there are many highly cultivated monsters being transported and organized, and in many places, there is even the aura of a 7th-level demon. This is one of the most important places in the Lion Camel Ridge. Zhang Yuan is very certain that there will definitely be a big demon guarding in the dark, but he doesn't know how many there are. Following the guidance of the elephant demon, Zhang Yuan turned right and walked along the torch on the wall for a distance, only to see a pile of skeletons. On the shelves built with these bones, there are many strange things placed, such as bone fragments, animal skins, jade slips, etc. Kid, these are all items that record the demon clan's martial arts. Take your time to find them yourself. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuan took a closer look and realized that there was an old monster lying on a stone chair in the corner. The demon tribe is an aggregation tribe, with countless subdivisions within it. The martial arts in the secret library are left behind by some monster predecessors, and most of them have limitations. Only a certain tribe or type of monster can cultivate. Therefore, the reward techniques for Lion Camel Ridge are all at their own discretion. Zhang Yuan arrived at a skeleton and picked up a bone fragment to start examining. At the beginning of these techniques, the cultivation requirements are indicated. If you feel that you meet the requirements, you can continue to read some of them. After determining the target, you can find the guarding monsters to unlock the restrictions and obtain the complete technique. With a glance of his divine mind, the information on it became clear. Before long, Zhang Yuan had already taken a look at most of the techniques. I myself am a dragon, lion, and insect, and the insects are weak. The chosen cultivation method should be between the dragon and lion genera. Considering that my divine soul is a fusion of human soul and Little Diamond Wind's divine soul, I can also practice the human cultivation method. Previously, Xia's Huanfeng also had a skill, but that skill had a low upper limit and low power, which naturally made Zhang Yuan look down on it. Before long, Zhang Yuan chose 4 martial arts books. One book is Swallowing Heaven and Earth, left by the green-haired lion monster. One book is Lingyazhenshi Gong, left by Huanya Laoxiang. These 2 volumes can only be practiced to the 7th level, and the later techniques need to be obtained from the green-haired lion monster or the yellow-toothed old elephant. The remaining 2 volumes were snatched from the cultivators of the human race. One is about cultivation techniques and the other is about swordsmanship, but both are fragments. Although the golden winged Depeng carving also left a scroll of cultivation techniques, Zhang Yuan did not consider it. Firstly, there is a discrepancy in appearance. Although Zhang Yuan also has wings, he is both an insect and an eagle. Secondly, the golden winged Depeng eagle is a Buddhist figure, and Zhang Yuan is afraid of being corrupted in the future, becoming a mount for the bald donkeys. As for the 2 monsters, the green-haired lion monster and the yellow-toothed old elephant, although Sun Wukong later invited Manjushri Bodhisattva and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva to surrender, Zhang Yuan knew that these 2 demons were followers of the Truncation sect, named Qiu Shouxian and Ling Yaxian. They were defeated in the 10,000 Immortals formation during the Great Apocalypse, and were demoted to mounts by Manjushri and Samantabhadra, taking advantage of the danger of others. Their martial arts are still cultivable at present. Explanation: Buddhism. Zhang Yuan sighed leisurely. Kid, have you chosen it yet? Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuan picked up a piece of animal skin in front of him and said, I have chosen it, and I want this swallowing heaven and earth skill. The old monster waved his hand and the restriction on the animal skin was instantly lifted. Zhang Yuan quickly placed it on his forehead, and soon, the secret technique of this cultivation from the little demon to the 7th level was engraved in his heart. You observe swallowing heaven and earth skill and recall the charm of Qiu Shouxian during the period of being a deity. The legend of the Lion Camel King swallowing 100,000 heavenly soldiers in one gulp is admirable to you. You resonate with swallowing heaven and earth skill, and with the help of your supernatural understanding, you have grasped a hint of the true meaning of swallowing heaven. Your digestion ability for the elixir, blood and flesh has been improved, and you can achieve better results. You can absorb spiritual energy faster to restore your state. You have faintly come into contact with the power of the devouring law, the true meaning of swallowing heaven. The law of swallowing. Zhang Yuan's eyes lit up with a brilliant light. Zhaozhuyuan.com I didn't expect to be exposed to a trace of the power of laws even after obtaining a cultivation technique. It seems that the gift from the heavenly way must have been very significant. After all, the sky won't drop pies for no reason. But now I'm just a little monster, no matter what plan the heavenly way has, we'll talk about it in the future. Thank you, Senior. I'm leaving now. After putting down the animal skin in his hand, Zhang Yuan walked towards the outside of the Lion Camel Cave. At this point, the other 17 Little Diamond fans already knew that Zhang Yuan had been promoted to the position of Chief Diamond Fan, and they were all waiting outside the cave. When Zhang Yuan came out of the secret library, everyone came up to greet him with envy on their faces. Zhang Yuan put on a posture and just nodded at everyone, without responding with words. This posture has deeply touched him in his past life. Leaving the vault and returning to his residence, he saw around 100 monsters playing nearby, waiting to be seen. Seeing Zhang Yuan, 110 monsters gathered together under the leadership of the leader and said in unison, I have seen the total diamond wind. The golden-winged Depeng eagle established a demon kingdom in the Lion Camel country and became an emperor. The green-haired lion monster and yellow-toothed elephant were also unwilling to be outdone, and tens of thousands of monsters in the Lion Camel Ridge were trained into armies. So the demons on the Lion Camel Ridge, if taken seriously, still look like soldiers in the army. Looking at the rigid and discerning monsters in front of me, Zhang Yuan said, I am now promoted to the position of General Diamond Wind, but the position of Little Diamond Wind is missing. In a while, I will be promoted from among you and elected as the 18th Little Diamond Wind. During this period, I will practice in seclusion, and you will act as before. After I pass the level, I will make the selection. After some encouragement, Zhang Yuan returned to his residence. Now that we have the cultivation techniques and 3 drops of 4th level monster true blood, it's time to solve our own problems. Chapter 10. The disappearance of dead corpse and the appearance of mysterious iron blocks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The quality of martial arts determines the quality of demon power and affects the overall combat power of a monster. Previously, Xia Huanfeng's martial arts were too poor, and Zhang Yuan looked down upon them. Now that you have powerful techniques, it's natural to first convert them. As a dragon and lion insect born together with the green-haired lion monster, this swallowing heaven and earth skill, created by the green-haired lion monster, is extremely suitable from birth. Quickly, Zhang Yuan grasped the essence and began to practice using demon power according to the cultivation method. With the operation of the martial arts, some of the dark wounds and poisons in Zhang Yuan's body were healed one by one. The originally ordinary physical body gradually became stronger with the polishing and refining of demon power, and many foul-smelling substances seeped out of Zhang Yuan's orifice. When the 108 weekdays ended, Zhang Yuan opened his eyes and found that his affinity for the spiritual energy between heaven and earth had increased several levels, even his body was extremely comfortable. The complex demonic power of the past has become very solid, turning into a dark and profound color. The quality has undergone earth-shaking changes, and the strength has become much stronger. At this point, Zhang Yuan has transformed his entire body of demonic power into the heavenly swallowing demon power of swallowing heaven and earth skill. After converting his own demonic power, Zhang Yuan cleared it briefly, ate a few more spiritual fruits, and then took out the true blood of the monster. The true blood of the monster is the essence of its body. It can be used to refine pills or swallowed directly. The true blood of high-level monsters can even transform a wild beast into a powerful monster. For accomplished monsters, true blood is also an excellent spiritual cultivation tool. Smelling the fragrant scent of real blood, Zhang Yuan felt his entire body cells breathing, feeling quite eager. Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan didn't hesitate and took out a drop of true blood to take, then continued to refine the swallowing heaven and earth technique. As soon as real blood entered his stomach, Zhang Yuan felt comfortable all over, even emitting hot air, and his body was also incorporating real blood into himself. 3 days later, a cold howl came from Zhang Yuan's residence. You have swallowed 3 drops of the true blood of the 4th level demon, and the bottleneck on your body has been temporarily resolved. You can improve your strength by observing and practicing. Finally solved. For a moment, Zhang Yuan was extremely excited and quickly practiced. 3 drops of true blood entering the abdomen not only solved Zhang Yuan's bottleneck problem, but also reached the peak of his 3rd level cultivation. At the end of a Sunday, feeling the wavering levels, Zhang Yuan was in a great mood. Pushing open the stone gate, I saw many monsters under my command gathering nearby. As soon as Zhang Yuan came out, I quickly stepped forward. Congratulations on the rapid progress of General Diamond Wind's cultivation. Listening to the praise of the demons, Zhang Yuan's face suddenly became speechless. Undoubtedly, she is a little demon with low cultivation and undeveloped mind. She flatters so hard. Okay, but it's broken through to the 2nd level. What's worth mentioning? Zhang Yuan habitually hit his hand. It's almost time for the mountain tour. You guys do your job well, I'll go out. After eating half a roasted rabbit, Zhang Yuan carried his command flag and began to patrol the Lion Camel Ridge. The magic treasure Qingmu flag, which was obtained from the snake demon in the oasis, has been refined by Zhang Yuan and used by him as the flag of the General Diamond Wind. As for the gift given by the wolf demon's 3-headed gaze, as well as the other magical tool received, they were either refined by Zhang Yuan or turned into cultivation materials. The king called me to patrol the mountains, and I turned the world around. I patrolled the southern mountains, the northern mountains, the eastern entrance, and the western entrance. Zhang Yuan sang the white guest version of the Little Diamond Wind song, walking and stopping in the Lion Camel Ridge, diligently patrolling. Walking south along the mountain road, all the monsters, big and small, warmly and respectfully greeted him. Zhang Yuan's current identity is like that of an emperor's imperial envoy and intelligence chief. Who dares to ignore it? Who dares to offend? This place is not far from where the dead body is, it's just a good time to try that magical power. As it was getting dark, Zhang Yuan walked to a place not far from the cave of corpses and made up his mind to use his demonic power to unleash the 5 elements. Zhang Yuan instantly burrowed into the ground and rushed towards the cave where the corpse was located. Before long, Zhang Yuan had already stood in the cave, looking at the dead body on the stone bed. This corpse is hard to spot, and Zhang Yuan still doesn't know any information about it. But he can also be certain that there is a profound mystery hidden within it, whether it is good or evil, and there is no way to guess. However, Zhang Yuan believes that as long as he is strong enough, all conspiracies and schemes are just clowns jumping off the beam. You observe the dead corpses for 3 days and 3 nights, and your cultivation has improved, becoming a 4th level monster. The 4th level demon, replaced by a human cultivator, becomes the Earth Immortal realm, completing the transformation from human to immortal. For demons, breaking through to the 4th level is also extremely important. Because apart from some demon tribes with strong bloodlines or exceptional talents, many ordinary demon tribes will awaken their divine powers when breaking through the 4th level. Just limited by bloodline, most of the awakened supernatural powers of monsters are not very outstanding, but even if they are not outstanding, these supernatural powers are extremely compatible with the awakened. I don't know what divine power I will awaken. With a strong curiosity, Zhang Yuan sat on the ground, practicing techniques and sensing blood vessels. As the practice progressed, Zhang Yuan felt a strong call in his bloodline. After a long time, Zhang Yuan slowly exhaled, his eyes bright and lively. I didn't expect to awaken this divine power. Dragons are capable of being big and small, ascending and descending, swallowing clouds and mist, accommodating all things, and disappearing into nothingness. The power of Zhang Yuan's awakening can be found at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, where you can find the size of Rui. Can change one's own size and conceal one's breath. This divine power is indeed good. If used properly, it is not inferior to those earth-shattering great powers. After familiarizing himself with his divine powers, Zhang Yuan continued to observe the dead body in front of him. You observe the dead corpses, the hidden secrets of the dead corpses have inspired you, and your strength has been improved. Because you have been observing for a long time, the demonic power inside the withered corpse is exhausted, and the withered corpse dissipates. What? Zhang Yuan was greatly surprised. He opened his eyes and indeed saw the pitch-black and withered corpse, which was turning into dust and scattered all over the ground. However, after a few breaths, no trace of the corpse's existence could be found again. How could this be? Zhang Yuan was greatly shocked. The origin of this corpse is mysterious, and observing it can increase the cultivation of demon power. Now that it has dissipated, the losses are too great. Moreover, I am still some distance away from the 5th level, and Tang Monk and his disciples will be at the Lion Camel Ridge at any time, leaving me with little time left. Just as Zhang Yuan was feeling anxious, he suddenly faintly sensed that there seemed to be something under the stone bed. Upon seeing this, Zhang Yuan quickly stepped forward and attempted to move the stone bed. At first glance, the material of this stone bed was average, but when Zhang Yuan really got started, he realized that the stone bed weighed at least 10,000 pounds. Fortunately, Zhang Yuan had a small divine power called Power Rush. With the power running, within a few breaths, the stone bed was moved away. A pitch-black iron block, engraved with mysterious runes, about the size of a palm, lay quietly on the ground. What is this? Something that can be with mysterious corpses is definitely extraordinary. Zhang Yuanlu pondered and cautiously approached, ready to pick it up. Damn it! I can't even hold this iron block.